Hi mamas. Okay, so I'm going to do a little newborn demo for you with my little girl. She is less than 2 weeks old. She'll be 2 weeks on Monday. Just going to use this gorgeous russet sling. Now, if you're wearing a newborn, chances are maybe this is the first time you've ever worn your sling. It might be a good idea to thread it and sort of feed it through the rings a little bit to sort of loosen it up so it's easier when you do get your baby into the sling. So popping it on the shoulder that you prefer, I'm going to show you how to thread it, but this is not something you have to do every time. Once it's threaded, you can leave it that way and you can just pop it over your shoulder. So making sure there's no twists in the back, and you're gonna grab the tail, and by fanning it like that you can sort of reduce any overlapping. So you're going through the rings from behind and then you're going over the top, under the bottom, just like a belt buckle lock. Okay, so newborns, you want it really all the way through, like very sort of little bit of pouch, but not much at all. And then you're going to grab the fabric between the rings and walk it out. So this part's called fanning the fabric. So the idea is you want to locate, so once you've fanned it out like that, rather than just pull it straight down because you're going to create more overlaps, you want to make sure the top seam, which I've just found just here, is at the top of the sling, so that runs through to the top, and the bottom seam is at the bottom of the seam, so that runs through to the bottom. So as I locate those seams, I pull them through, and then the rest sort of will just kind of sit anywhere in between. So that's a really nice thread. So with that, yeah, you can actually take that off and back on and not undo it. So then you're going to make a seat. So this, pop your elbow in. You're basically wanting to tighten this bottom rung and have it kind of go up because it creates that pouch for baby to sit in. So holding onto the top rail, because it sort of keeps everything nicely in place, pulling down and pull it in the direction the fabric came from. So don't pull it that way or even straight down. You almost sort of pull it like to the side, and then it doesn't create overlaps here. If you do get a little overlap, try not to worry too much, as long as it's sort of tightening. So here, notice how it's tight, and when you look inside, you can see that pouch and that bit of fabric is turned up. So I'm going to do a legs in carry with Arlette. She is due for a feed, so she might be a little bit cranky. So with newborns, when they go in, if you're breastfeeding, they can smell your milk. So it's best to feed them before putting them in, but we'll see how we go. Okay. Alright, so putting her nice and high on the shoulder, and then I'm going to reach underneath the sling. So while supporting her with one hand, I'm going to reach underneath, and then you're going to get her little legs to go like a frog, and then lifting the fabric over her back. Okay, so then that's a good way to sort of get her into a nice froggy position, and you know she's nice and comfortable. So lifting it high on the back, then I just lower her in. So her little legs are inside the sling. And then what you want to do is make sure she's nice and supported across the back. So you can even sort of prop her up a little bit, and then I'm going to tighten from the top, and then I'm going to work my way down and pull and make sure there's no excess fabric. So another way to make sure there's no excess fabric is to actually bring it around from here. So if you have a look here with a little bit, I'm going to pull that through. So the key with a newborn is good back support. So she's in nice and snug, but you don't want her curled over. You want her to be able to sit up. And then of course, since she's looking for the boob right now, I'll show you a breastfeed as well. So then of course you can sort of twist, very lightly twist, you don't have to do it too tight, and then fold it under. And just making sure her neck's supported and that way you can see her airways are clear. So you want her head up and out of the sling. You do not want her head to be sinking down. That's very important. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to breastfeed a newborn in the sling, considering she's really going for it. So undo that head support. So she's nice and tucked in here. So I'm just going to loosen. Everyone's different. You might have to loosen a bit more than I do, but loosen a little bit. Just mainly the top, so you keep that shape. And see how she's dropped down now? And then usually you'd be wearing better breastfeeding attire, but I'm just going to go up and then latch her on. There she goes. So she's quite happily sucking away. Now I can still see her airways, and I will support her neck with my hand. At this age I probably wouldn't go completely hands-free, just because she's just learning breastfeeding. So I'll probably just support, and then I've still got one hand to move around. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So she's having a nice feed, and then once I'm done, I will tighten everything back up so that she's back up and close enough to kiss. So yeah, support her back with your sling. Make sure she's not in that curved position. And what was the other tips? Okay, clear airways. Make sure you can see her face and her head isn't buried down into the sling. And yeah, so 3.6 kilo. If you do want to wear earlier, especially if you're just wearing around the house, please consult with your doctor before you do so, just to make sure that they're happy. I know a lot of mums sort of ask that question, and yeah, definitely consult with your doctor or midwife. Okay, all right, thanks mamas, take care. I just thought I'd quickly show you her enjoying her feed. The little noises she makes.